Welcome to ActionTracks, where we've got a very special treat for you this time out. We're in Lexington, Kentucky, where we're going to bring back some old school monster truck and tractor pull action. We're going to send it to the floor with our guest host.
Hey, welcome to Alltech Arena, Lexington, Kentucky, where all the monster truck action's going on tonight. We got the brand new grave robber. We're not the grave digger, we're the grave robber. They can dig the hole, they can put the casket in, and we're gonna go back and get the treasures. That's what it's all about.
Well, you just heard from Rob French. Let's meet the field of trucks for tonight's monster truck activity. First up, it's Dalton Van Skyok in the Nite Stalker. Grave Robber, driven by Scott MANDEL. And Joe Nichter in Stomper rounds out this old school car crush freestyle exhibition. Moving straight into monster truck action, kicking it off will be Scott MANDEL, the new guy behind the wheel of the Grave Robber. This is actually Rob French's truck, as many of you out there in the monster truck fan community will know. But Scott stepping behind the wheel, Rob French experimenting with the driver. MANDEL new behind the wheel, but he doesn't seem to be afraid of the truck, but he's definitely still getting his orientation inside that cab and getting used to piloting this 10,000-pound beast. The Grave Robber, a brand new identity that Rob French has just brought out. And MANDEL giving the truck vet a little bit of air there, putting it through its paces. Going to try for a donut, perhaps. We'll have to see. Yeah! A nice little donut for the Grave Robber. I think that will about round out the run. As we've got 2 sessions here today, we'll bring you more of the Grave Robber later on in the event. But right now, let's move on into the whole point of the event, truck and tractor pulls. We're starting off with the 6,000-pound Limited Lite class.
Yeah, this is a Limited Lite Super Stock class. We pull 6,100 pounds. The alcohol injection, which we got, they run about 1,000 to 1,500 horse. 370 cubic inches the limit. 3.3 in, 4 out is the turbo limit. The diesel tractors are allowed 470 cubic inch. Anything under 310 is allowed 2 3x3 turbos. So it's pretty even steel between the alcohol injection and the diesels. All agricultural ends, no components in this class. That's why it's called Limited Lights, and the limitation on the cubic inch. So we almost put some fancy paint jobs on them. We have a lot of fun. They're kind of a wild class. You never know quite where they're going to go. So hang on and go, crowd pleaser. Runs up and go.
Well, you heard it right there. What better way to understand the class than from the competitors themselves? We're getting straight into it. They may look like stock tractors, but as you heard, they definitely are no such thing. Spitting out huge horsepower, multiple turbos. We kicked it off with Gratitude. He came in at 197 feet 10 inches. We're moving on into the red-eyed Under the Influence tractor. Oh, right there on the end of the run, you see fluid pouring out of the bottom of the engine. That looks like he just shelled an engine. That is oil falling out, and as they kick parts and pieces aside, that's not going to be what he was looking for, but a solid run to start out. He's in the lead right now with a 214.74. Moving on to family driven What can he do with that? 2:33.65, and Family Driven vaults into the lead. Under pressure, the first Ford tractor we've seen so far. The power of these tractors going down the track is just amazing as Under Pressure rolls into second place with a 2:29. This is till the money runs out. Very fitting for tractor pulling. It can be an expensive hobby, but these guys are having a great time out there. That looks like third place with a 2:26. White Mare, a great looking tractor. Not going to be his day with a 2:18. That means Family Driven will take the win with a 2:33.65, followed by Under Pressure till the money runs out, White Mare, and Under the Influence with 2:14.74 rounds out your top 5. Moving back into monster truck action. Here comes the home state guy, Joe Nichter, in that Stomper, showing off that horsepower with this rodeo dirt on the inside of the Alltech Arena. We're at the Kentucky Horse Park, so maybe Nichter will feel inspired here. What's he got for us here? Here we go. Stomper, a good hit here in this Car Crush Freestyle exhibition. But we're getting word that Nichter may have broken something in the rear of the truck. That looks like it's going to be all for his run. We'll have to see what happened and find out if they can get it fixed. But out right now, it's Dalton Van Skyok in the Nite Stalker, kicking it off with a donut. Donut starting off with a bang and going straight to the car obstacle. May have kicked a little bit. We're hearing that Van Skyok may have rattled his cage a little bit. Let's go down to the pits. A lot of work going on the Stomper truck. Broke a yoke on the rear end, and the rear drive shaft coming out of the transfer case. So old man Nichter's gonna get back together, but we've got some work to do. While they're working on that, let's move on into more pulling action. It's Pro Stock 4-wheel drive. Let's go down to the floor and find out how it works.
This class is a 4x4 Pro Stock. It's the name of my truck's rumor has it. We've been pulling this class for 20 some odd years. Basically, it's a 4-wheel drive, 485 cubic inch. A lot of these motors are turning like 1,100 horsepower. The object of this stuff is to get that horsepower to the ground. It's hard to do sometimes, you know, but there's a lot of these guys been doing this for years. I've done it. My daughter used to drive my truck. She's moved off on me, and but we enjoy it. It's a good hobby, good, clean family fun, you know. Hope we do good. That's the first pull I pulled indoors this year. I'm looking to do good, I hope so. But there's a lot of them out there the same way, you know.
Well, you just heard it from Ricky Wyatt. Right now, our test puller is on the track. It's Top Gun. Oh, he's got a head of steam right into the dirt berm. But we're hearing that they are going to reset the sled, so that run will be no good. This will be our first run with the reweighted sled. Red Rock comes in with 2:13.51. That will set the tone. Here's Ricky Wyatt with Rumor Has It. He was telling us about the class earlier. Let's see what he's got here tonight. A little bit of bounce in the truck. That's not going to serve him well. And the distance reflects that. A 1:94.76 Sawmill Express. A little bit of bounce, but not quite as much as we saw just a moment ago. A 2:04.07 will put him second right now. The Eliminator, the big orange Ford Ranger, roaring down the track. These trucks are all naturally aspirated, trying to put the power to the ground, but not going to be good enough for the Eliminator. The Bluegrass Shaker. Want to see different makes and models, this is a class for you. We've got Chevy, we've got Ford, we've got a little bit of everything. Old trucks, new trucks. We've got an old Chevy square body out here. This is a classic looking four-wheel drive pulling truck with a solid run, but not going to take the lead here tonight. Our final standings, Red Rock, the first truck out, takes the victory, followed by Sawmill Express, Bluegrass Shaker, Showtime, and Rumor Has It, rounding out the top 5. Moving into the showstoppers, it's the two-wheel drive class.
This is Matt Kane. I run the super modified two-wheel drive, 6,200 pound. This is called the Bipolar, sponsored by Polar Air, our company. We run a 521 billet Hemi supercharger. We're running about 2,800 horsepower.
The first round out, these guys had the throttle to the ground and they were blowing it out the back door. These guys were tearing up the track, and we had numerous trucks throwing it all the way out the top end with full pulls. So that sets up a pull-off. We've got 6 trucks here ready to rock and roll in the pull-off. And so we're going to get down to it. Here's the order, and we're bringing up the first truck. It's Ridin' Dirty, driven by Keith Long. A fantastic looking Chevy S10. Sleek, clean look, and he sets the tone with a 2:36.15. We'll have to see how that holds out. Our first challenger will be Thor. We'll see if he can topple Riding Dirty. But no cigar for Thor. A 2:33.40 will put him into second place. He's got to be pretty pleased with that, but we'll have to see if it holds up. Here's an old T-bucket. This has always been a popular body style in this class. This is Spike, but it's not going to be Spike's night with a 2:27. Another T-bucket in the Lone Wolf. This may give us a taste if the track is going away and these guys continue to get shorter and shorter distances, or if it's coming around. no, it looks like it may be going away with a 220. Riding Dirty still on top. Wow, not a good sight for Lone Wolf. The reloaded T-Bucket. And he improves on some of the competitors with a 229. That'll put him in third. Our final competitor, the Fearless T-Bucket. Not going to get it done with a 220. So that means the Riding Dirty truck is going to take the win with a 236, followed by Thor with a 233, Reloaded 229, Spiked, Fearless, and Lone Wolf round out our pull-off here. A wild competition in Lexington. But right now, they're getting the sled off of the track. We're moving out of pulling activity, and we're setting up the monster truck track for some more monster truck action. And starting it off is Dalton Van Skyhock in the Nite Stalker in our second session of monster trucks. Dalton rattled his cage a little bit, shook himself up on a rough landing earlier in the competition, but he's back, and he's going to put on a show here in the Alltech arena. Let's see what he's got. Dalton and the Nite Stalker aren't far from home. Dalton from northern Indiana as he whips it into a donut and pulls the steering wheel off, showing off for the fans here in Lexington. And kicking back into it on the other end of the track. Dalton's doing a pretty good job here, rounding out the run as we move on into the Grave Robbers run with Scott Mandel, the new guy behind the wheel. Let's see what he's got. Oh! A rough landing. He broke a sway bar on the first landing on the first hit. That is a rough way to round out your run. Here comes our final performer here for the night. Joe Nichter once again out in the Stomper. He got the truck all back together. He got that yoke repaired. He's ready to rock and roll. He's got the overhead lights on as he starts off the run with a nice slap wheelie. Bringing us back to the old school days of monster trucks with the truck and tractor pull exhibitions. It's neat to see Nichter sporting the lights on top of the racerback. Stomper, one of the classic names. This has got to take you back to some of the origins of the sport. Struggling just a little bit here with the rear steering. We'll have to see if he can get that back in order. But it looks like he'll just make up for it with a donut. And a nice dirt slinging donut at that. Well done, Joe Nichter. This is a real fine dirt here inside of this normally what's known as a horse pavilion. This is built for rodeo events. It's part of the Alltech Kentucky Horse Park, and so it's a different consistency than we see at a lot of monster truck events, so there's a little adaptation for the monster truck drivers, but Joe Nichter in this Stomper seems to be adjusting perfectly with some great slap wheelies, some great donuts as he comes to a stop and rounds out his run. A very nice run to round out the event here at the Kentucky Horse Park Alltech Arena KTPA event. We've seen a lot of high horsepower, all-out action from a number of different classes here at the KTPA event in Lexington, Kentucky. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, pro stock tractors, and monster trucks. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. We hope you had a great time. We'll see you next time on Action.